Now I done grew around some people living their life in bottles. Granddaddy had the golden flask, back door every day in Chicago. Some people like the way it feels, some people want to kill their sorrows.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Uriel's Gaming back here, and I'm talking more about the Black Ops 4 beta. This is after the weekend. I know this is like a couple days late. The beta's been over for a few days. I didn't really get time to do it yet. I know, so it's kind of late. But I'm gonna talk over everything that I can for this beta, because I played everything that they had for me to play as much as I could in depth. There's some things I didn't really get to touch as much. And, you know, we couldn't hit the max level 40 this weekend. It's going to be this, last weekend. It's this new weekend coming up now. And we're going to be able to hit 40 and try a couple other guns and different things. I don't know if I'll do a video for that, just to touch on a couple other things, but we'll see what happens. If it's anything like crazy or drastic, I'll do another one. What I want to talk to you is, after playing the game very thoroughly in depth from my last video, the first impressions, found more stuff that I liked and I didn't like. For one, I'll touch on the stuff that I didn't really like first. So one thing is that subs, as everybody knows, really are clearly just too strong in this game. They're very strong, especially the first one, the MX9. It's just, if you have that thing set up right, it just completely overpowers every other gun in the game. Really, it's very hard to beat in almost any situation. Maybe it needs like a range reduction, slight damage nerf, something like that, but it's strong. There's not really an AR that can compete with it, except for maybe the SCAR variant of the AR. It's probably the best run and gun AR in the game, in my opinion, even over the gun I'm using here, the Vapor that I picked up. The Vapor was nice, but it was a little overwhelming. I know, like, earlier when the COD reveal, they said this gun was pretty crazy, but I think they nerfed it some. I wasn't crazy impressed by this weapon. It's good, but I felt like, honestly, the SCAR was a lot better for if you want to run an AR and slay, or even the ICR. I feel like it's just a little bit stronger, especially because the Vapor cannot get AP rounds, and body armor is like huge in this game. Everybody runs body armor like constantly, and it's like a kind of like a bad version of Juggernaut. You know, it allows you to take maybe 2 to 3 extra shots if you're not running AP rounds. If you're running AP rounds, it pretty much counters it. There were times I ran AP rounds 1 and 2, and that was pretty fun. But yeah, the subs are strong. Other than that, you know, I'm trying to think. There wasn't really a lot of stuff I didn't like about this game. I think that the shotguns, even though they're secondary, need a slight damage buff. I know before I said that I thought they were in a pretty good state, but they're really not. They're very underwhelming. Most of the time, I mean, you're never going to get a one-shot, even if you barrel stuff the dude. I literally slid to a guy and shot him point blank, and he didn't drop. Rapid fire is probably going to be a must, and probably like a long barrel. Which is another thing I was kind of disappointed about in this game. Long barrels don't really do anything. I know on Black Ops 3, long barrels, especially on ARs, were crazy good. I mean, it would literally shorten the time to kill by 1 to 2 shots. But in this game, experimenting with the long barrel, I really did not feel like it didn't do anything. Now, this is all like, you know, circumstantial. It could change, obviously, when the full game comes out. They're going to change stuff. I don't know what all people are going to complain about and talk about, that they want, maybe buff, nerf, things like that. But I feel like the long barrel could be a little bit better. Using it on the ARs to try and extend my range for those long range fights, I didn't feel like it did anything. High caliber, I do feel like, is very good in this game again, thank God, because in World War II, high caliber was just complete garbage. It did nothing. But in this game, I feel like high caliber is very good, and running a high caliber and AP rounds on an AR can help you beat the subs right now, especially if you're better at aiming for the head, upper torso. And one thing too I did like about the guns was sorry, I'm so sorry about my throat right now. It's got a lot of mucus in it. Every gun in this game feels pretty uniquely different. Especially like on the AR side, I would feel like there's ARs that I found were better for certain situations, and then some that weren't. Like, some were better if you wanted to run and gun a little bit more with the ARs. Some of the ARs were way better for if you want to play more passive aggressive. They're a lot better in that regard because they have a little more time to kill, but they're really good and very accurate and shred people fast if you have a good shot. Like the Scar variant of the AR, you can't run quick draw on it. Like, if you guys notice, some guns in the beta, cannot get certain attachments that other guns can. But the Scar was very good for slaying. I ended up using that gun probably the most. Really, I used ARs the most in this game because I love the way ARs feel in Treyarch Call of Duties. And sometimes we're better. Like, there's actually like a Scorpion variant in this game for subs. But it's weird because it's decent when you play like objective game modes such as Control or Dom or Hardpoint, but it's really good in Search, and you see everybody run it in Search. I don't know why. It's just run more in Search. You don't really see it in any other game type. And then touching more on the specialists, let's go into that real quick. So all the specialists in this game are very fun and they're very good to play, and they all have unique purposes. Ruin seems to be like the most played overall just because he can grapple hook around the map really well. And he's fun, but he's kind of just, basic, like he gets around the map, he kills people, that's it. And he can be pretty good for Search and TDM, Dom, stuff like that. But he, other than that, he doesn't really put much value for the team, like if you really need help. Characters I found that were really the best, especially for objective game modes, was definitely Firebreak. Firebreak was really good. And I liked Crash. He can heal you. And then I can't remember the name of the Scottish guy. I really liked him for the new Control game type with his barrier and barbed wire he could put down. Very, very good for teams. Now, I know I saw some people on YouTube, I've seen this around, like some people were like, Firebreak is so broken, Firebreak's overpowered, and I disagree. He's really not. He's only good in objective game modes, and TDM, he's pretty useless. His kit doesn't really serve him at all except for his flamethrower. But the real thing that makes Firebreak so great is his reactor core. And what I like about Firebreak, because the big issue you have in this game is that it's very fast, and if you have a good shot, because your shot is very important in this game, you can't get away in this game with not having a good aim. If you are one of those people that's not very good at shooting, you're gonna have a harder time in this game. It's very important that you hit your shots, because if you even miss like one shot, the guy could just instantly shred you and kill you. And I know that could probably be said for past gods, but it just feels more prominent in this game. I really don't know how else to describe it, but anyway, let me get back to Firebreak. Because when you have Firebreak and you're a team, there's so many times in this game, especially on objectives, where the team can just hold down the objective. I had it on defense where you can just absolutely keep them from getting in, and it's hard to get in. And Treyarch said they were going to put a lot more emphasis on team play and having to work as a team to win, and it's very true in this game. You actually have to. You can't just be a one-man, carrying machine most of the time in objective game modes. Depending on who your teammates are. If your teammates are just the average guy that runs around with like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to just slay people in objective modes, you're not going to win. It doesn't work as well in this game because it's easier for teams to set up and play defensively. And you have to figure out how to get through with offense. And really the only way a lot of the time I found to easily break a team off an objective is with Firebreak's reactor core. The permanent health damage is really good, and also if you use it while your team's fighting, you can get some kills off of it and extend it by taking your own life. But you got to be careful with it, because if you go to the max, you will kill yourself. It just kills you. I tested it one time. It was pretty rad. And I didn't feel he was overpowered. And if you want to counter break, all you have to do is use Crash. I know there's a lot of people that didn't play Crash that gives you the extra body armor and heals the team, but that was it. There was probably only like once or twice there was like a good Firebreak that gave me a problem, and I prayed Crash, and I just stopped him. It's not rocket science, I mean, a lot of people were complaining about that, and honestly, just like use your brain. It's really not that hard to figure out. Another one, I was trying to remember. There was a couple complaints I saw people making about some stuff in the beta that if they were justified, I'm just say it, I would agree with them, but I really didn't, because I did not have hard times because I figured out just the countermeasures you had to take for it. Like some people were talking about time to kill in this game, and the only reason the time to kill is long most of the time is because of body armor. That is it. In any given situation, that is the only reason time to kill can be long, and it sucks only for weapons that can't run armor penetration. but you can easily fix that just by running rapid fire, maybe a stock to help you move around a little bit more. And maybe the body armor, I don't really feel like it needs to be adjusted because it's not even that bad when you can run AP rounds, and AP rounds completely negates the body armor. And that's just like one of those things like people complain about, that they, you know, they just did not use their head when they said it. Sorry, I just seen some like really cringy Call of Duty videos the last few days. And other than that, you know, the gameplay in this game is just, I don't know. I felt like it was really good. Minor tweaks need to be adjusted with some of the guns. And one thing, we'll talk about this real quick, because I've seen people bring this up. I want to get everybody's opinion on it. If you could leave it in the comments below. I want to know what y'all thought about the new search and destroy mechanic with Seraph. So at first people thought it was a bug where you could plant Seraph's spawn beacon and respawn in the middle of search. And actually Treyarch came out and said that it wasn't a bug. They did that intentionally because they wanted to explore new things. And some people are like, oh, that's awful, you respawn in the middle of search. I'm not really sure about it because I played as Seraph and other people played as Seraph. And the respawn was cool, you know, when they had it on the other team and we had it, but I didn't really feel like, at least initially, it was broken or overpowered. Once an entire search and destroy batch, you may get Seraph spawn beacon twice. And both teams can do it, but what I liked about it is that I was looking at, not from the public match point, but from the competitive point, is that we've had like the same search and destroy for years. And this could be just a way to add more strategy, even spice it up, because I'm just thinking like in the long run, you could have so many crazy outplays, different things happening, you know, and I think it could make for some really cool, interesting matches, especially in the pro side of things. I'll have to wait and see and probably experiment with it further, see what other people have to say about it. But I thought it was going to be broken maybe at first, but it really wasn't that bad. And most of the time, maybe one or two people might respawn off the beacon. Probably only one before it's destroyed or it goes away. I didn't see anything really crazy happen with it. I came back once in a game, and then I got like 3 kills, but I think we still lost the round. I don't even remember. But that was just some of these things. See that guy right there, too, by the way? The guy with the shield, I think his name is Ajax. That character, too, is excruciating to play against in objective modes. I've played against some guys that were Ajax players, and it's just insane. Not only is his 9-bang ridiculously good, it doesn't take long to come back, but his shield, it is impossible to kill this man when he has his shield up. I mean, I know you got armor penetration rounds, you can do more damage to equipment, but it still takes forever, man. We had an Ajax guy just single-handedly just 1v6 the team over and over again, and he was just a monster. I know you guys could say, wow, maybe they just sucked, you know, or whatever, but honestly, he was a really good player. I was very impressed with his Ajax, but I also feel like Ajax shield is a little strong. Might need some minor adjustments. You don't see a lot of people play as Ajax, but I saw a couple people that played him every game that were just destroying people absolutely with his shield. Another thing too in the game was equipment. So frags and tacticals are pretty much gone unless you play Battery or Ajax, you know, because Battery gets her cluster grenade, Ajax gets his 9-bang. The only way to get them is by doing special equipment, which doesn't take up a slot, and then you can pick your frag grenade or attack or a trophy system, but at a cost. So every character has their RB ability, you know, like throwing down the ammo bag or using the grappling hook. However, if you take on your created class for a frag grenade or stun, it does replace your character's R1 ability. Sorry, I said RB the first time I was thinking about Xbox. RB R1 ability, I'm gonna call it. So you have to give up some sacrifice there, which does kind of suck sometimes, but the grenades are pretty good too. I don't know if tack, like, I don't think it gets rid of your heal. You always have to have your heal. Yeah, so that wouldn't make any sense. Other new thing they added in the game that I actually liked a lot was, instead of perk 1, 2, 3 greed, which they still have in the game, was perk 1, 2, 3 gluttony. Because there was times like on the subclasses when I made like a sub with just a lot of attachments and I wanted like more class 2 perks, but you know, I didn't have slots. I actually put on the gluttony, and that allowed me to take 3 perks in the secondary class. And that's what it is. The gluttonies allow you to take all 3 three perks in one category. So I took lightweight scavenger and gung ho for one class one time, and I thought that was really cool because sometimes the greed takes up more. So if you want to get more for your buck, sometimes you can use the greed, and I found it very cool. Another thing that I saw in this game too that through the beta started to frustrate me a little bit was Team Link. Team Link, trying to remember what the whole perk did. The most essential part of Team Link is that it gives you a mini-map indicator of where an enemy is coming from, like a direction. And it's very good, especially in objective game modes. But it's also very frustrating because everybody runs it, and it's really hard to flank and get the surprise on people on objectives. And it also, at the same time, I know you can run cold-blooded. There's another perk that counters it. I can't remember which one it is, but it doesn't actually even fully counter it. It reduces it. So I think it makes it to where it's only like when you're like point blank on them do you see them, which that's still pretty good. But if you run Team Link with the sensor that's on gear, you can almost triple the range of it. So you can see someone coming from a long way off. It's actually nutty how far away you can get the indicator from. It's crazy. Another thing too I found interesting, I don't know if I like this or not, when you get guns to max level, some of them can get weapon mods, but not every gun can get a weapon mod, which I thought was very strange. But some of them get cool ones, like bayonets, like the pistols can get it, some of the ARs can, different things like that. I'll also say too, for guns in the game, I think that the tactical rifles may need a buff. The DMR is pretty good, and so is the AUG, but they're very inconsistent. It feels like sometimes when you're shooting right at the guy, you're not getting bullet registration, hit detection, different things like that. Because the AUG is a lot like the, what was it called in Black Ops 3? The XMR, the white burst gun. It feels a lot like that, but a little worse. The gun's got a weird hit detection and hitbox. You might need to get the weapon mod for the better burst. And same thing with the DMR. Sometimes, like, when you just looks like you're clearly shooting at someone, you're not getting hit detection. I might be crazy, but it just, I don't know, it felt weird at times. I didn't really get to play with the swordfish much. That was one of the only guns I did not get to touch. The swordfish, I forgot. I got there and I was like trying to look up level 40, and I got off and totally forgot to play with the swordfish before the beta ended. I picked it up like once or twice, and it felt really good. It still felt like the M8, probably more from Black Ops 3 than Black Ops 2, because in Black Ops 3 the M8 was a little weaker. It felt like that, so that gun was still consistent and good. I saw a lot of people running with that gun that hit 34. Better than that, guys. Trying to think if there was more I wanted to talk about. Not really. I mean, I have very little complaints about the game. Overall, I very much enjoyed my time playing the beta. I thought it was a lot of fun. I didn't find myself getting really bored or tired of it like I do with World War II, because World War II, I can't even touch the game anymore. And same thing with Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 3. Those two died probably like halfway through for me. Infinite Warfare a little bit less. And World War II died sooner than that. I think I played the game like 2 months, and then I've barely touched it really ever since. And this game, I think, is getting me back into it. The Black Ops have never let me down. I'm excited to see more what they do. I know the BR comes out next month, and I'm very excited to touch that, because with the way everything felt in this game and the additional features that the BR is going to have, I feel like it has the potential to be just really, really great. But like I said, I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I'm not going to go into it expecting, greatness. I'm going to play the game, see how I feel, and do a video for it then. And other than that, guys, I think that's all I have to say about the game so far. Let me know what you thought about the Black Ops beta down below. Complaints. I might have missed some things. I'm drawing up a blank right now. But just talk, let me know what you thought, problems you had, things you liked, all kinds of different stuff. And other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.